Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the new stage of When Wishes Backfire, Birth of the Shadow Dragons event. Now this is a relatively difficult stage. I mean, it's a pretty difficult stage. This is Syn Shenron. He hits pretty hard. Going to be entirely honest, he's quite tough. So I brought a pretty good team in here. We're going to discuss the boss a little bit first and then just talk about team build. But honestly speaking, you will need quite a good team to take this on. I always like to usually try free-to-play units, this, that, etc. This time around I thought, let me just bring something I like to play, and then in future videos I'll do free-to-play runs and everything. So this is my first attempt. We did get it done first attempt with items, doesn't matter. The big thing here is obviously to understand the boss. Now, the three phases of Syn Shenron, they start off pretty strong. The first phase of Syn Shenron hits pretty decently hard, I will admit. Also two phases with AoE attacks, very similar to the special AoE attack of the Ultimate Clash Broly. So pretty tough. The big thing with AoE attacks is it causes an issue for units that gain a large majority of their defense upon super. Secondly as well, 3 typings. 3 typings is also something that causes issues because it does limit your team build a little bit. And by limit I mean it means you have to plan accordingly. The end phase means it's going to be difficult to start off with tech units if they don't have guard. The AGL phase means that strength units will struggle in the middle of the fight, and then obviously the final phase, which is usually the longest, is physical, which means int type units aren't going to be your friends here. Now strength units seem to be okay. The AGL phase doesn't seem to be the hardest phase. Int units are also pretty decent because it's only the first phase that's int, and from there AGL units obviously are pretty solid because AGL units don't have a typing that they are affected by. So AGL or physical, they type neutral the whole way, which tends to make them pretty good, especially since they have an advantage in the first phase. In terms of his abilities, so while he's in the int phase, he's immune to stunning, immune to sealing. This is true the whole way through. He's immune to defense lowering, but he can have his attack lowered, so that's a strategy you could use in the beginning, and he will randomly change key spheres. For the next 2 phases, all of that remains true, except he's now immune to defense lowering, attack lowering as well. But he will do a special AoE attack. Now you'll see that when we get to the AGL section, but it's basically an AoE normal attack that he does. So it's not an AoE super like Red Zone Broly, but it's an AoE normal. And it hits relatively hard. I will say it doesn't hit maybe as hard as it could potentially, but that is basically it. So it's definitely something to be aware of. Of course, as well, you can also have him lower your defense as well. So when he's in the final phase, when he's in his physical stage, he will actually lower your defense as well. So that's pretty intense. Obviously causes you some issues. So what is going to be a good team to bring here? Well, of course, units with guard. Units with guard are very, very strong in this situation. Whenever you have multiple rotating types, units with guard are always going to be good. Evasion is going to be strong here. He does obviously hit. I mean, you can see he hits pretty hard. There you go. By the way, obviously type disadvantage, we're activating the revive on purpose. But the thing is he can hit relatively hard. I think an important thing to understand when you look at him as a unit is of course as well that when it comes to units that you can evade, there is a degree of flexibility in your team build. So evasion units are going to be strong here. Alternatively, you can look to just manhandle his attacks. He does hit pretty hard though. I think in his Syn Shenron state, his super is worth around 1.5 million or so, 1.6 million, 1.6-ish million, so he does hit pretty hard. It's not the hardest, Tech Cell Max hits harder than that. I believe Broly hits harder than that as well. I believe Metalcore Cooler hits harder than that, but it's hard. It's up there. It's definitely a decent hit from him. Beyond that though, pretty good. So pretty easy to handle. No locking in place, which is usually what Shenron does, and is probably one of the more annoying things that he has or can do. And then of course as well, no sealing as well, which is a lot of what the Syn Shenron in the red zone did as well. So some of those more annoying aspects of the Syn Shenron boss design has been removed, which makes things a little bit easier. Now in terms of our team build, we went for a movie heroes team. So we have the double green or tech blue boys, the double tech Super Saiyan God Vegeta and Super Saiyan God Goku. And they are obviously going to be floating. They're a very, very good unit. Stacking defense, all of that. When they transform, they gain critical hit and evasion. Very, very strong unit. But they're going to be more than fine floating. And the reason why we're floating them is because they will stack fast enough that we can use items. And with them floating, we can prioritize other units that need to stack a bit more. But very, very good unit. Incredibly solid. Then we also have, as our first pairing, we have the Tech Super Saiyan Goku alongside the AGL Goku and Vegeta. Now, Goku and Vegeta actually aren't a great unit from a fundamental design point to bring into the stage, well, because of two reasons. So, the first one being that they can take a lot of damage from AoE attacks. The reason they take a lot of damage from AoE attacks is because their defense only kicks off after Super. So you are only able to gain their defensive capabilities upon Super. And so this does reduce their tankability quite a bit. They rely a lot on Super attacks to boost or bolster their defense, which is very, very crucial. Then we are going to run them though, and they're going to do a fine job. Then on the other rotation, we have the Piccolo duo. So we have the Strength Piccolo. Fantastic unit, guards all attacks, also has damage reduction based on the amount of movie heroes on the team or in his rotation. Of course, we have the movie heroes within the rotation, so everything's more than fine there. And the big thing with him is just that support that he provides to the rest of the rotation as well. Very, very, very solid unit that we can use quite efficiently here. And then, of course, we also have the Tech Piccolo. And he's also going to be really, really good. You've seen him become useful already with that heal that he provides, which helped us heal to full. Also augmented his own defense with additional damage reduction. And then we've got his big time damage that he does do alongside his ability to provide ki. Also floating Ultimate Gohan. Ultimate Gohan being a huge damage dealer for us pretty much the whole way through. And that's the team build. We will be using items just to secure the victory first time. It's always nice to do. I think this is a relatively achievable no item run. I would probably switch out the AGL Goku and Vegeta for the AGL Gohan. I think that would be probably my best bet. And then I would adjust the team slightly to accommodate all of this. But in general, I think it's just a very, very strong team that does more than fine. Overall, I think at the end of the day, the team functions well enough to the point that I'm quite happy with everything that goes on here. I think, there are a couple of changes I would make. Obviously, for the no item run, like I said, switch out Goku and Vegeta to avoid those AoE attacks. Switch up the leads as well, possibly, and swing in a Earthbred Fighters lead with Tech Goku. Also, possibly a much better call. But yeah, in general, I think it's still a very, very solid team that does more than fine. I think at the end of the day, it does what it needs to do and functions well enough beyond those slight changes. Ultimate Gohan's a big time damage dealer for the team. I will admit he carries a lot of the payload when it comes to damage. Saved a lot of our super attacks as well for this period. The giant form that we used was not superly effective, but it was pretty good, and it does help with damage. Also just allows us to see how hard Syn Shenron hits. By the way, if you ever want to see how hard the unit hits, activate the giant form. Your defense technically goes down to like a very low amount. So yeah, but that's it. Honestly speaking, beyond that, it really wasn't that big an issue. Piccolo tanked great, Tech Piccolo tanked great, everything went more than fine. And honestly, the team was just really, really really good. Team ran perfectly, everything was great. Like I said, small changes to achieve a no item run, I guess, if you want to, but really nothing too crazy. It is a hard stage. This is probably definitely a step up from all the other of the Shadow Dragon stages, and it's definitely a red zone equivalent stage. So if you struggle to do red zone or you haven't completed any of those, you may struggle with this one as well, but it is a fun stage to do, and yeah, it's definitely a good time. Beyond that, outside of that, that's pretty much everything I would say that you need to know. I wouldn't say there's anything else. Like I said, just be aware of the fact that he has that AoE attack. Units that gain defense on super or holistically reliant on defense on super are going to be a little bit difficult to function with here, so maybe just look out for that. But other than that, you should be more than fine. Hopefully you guys can really build a team that works best for you. I'll be coming up with some alternative builds. I really like the idea of a Terrifying Conquerors team here. I think that could be the most fun build, and it's probably going to be the one that I'm just going to try build a team with, really. I think it's just going to be a really fun team build. So yeah, beyond that, that's it. We're going to finish up with the really cool active skill for Goku and Vegeta, because why not? And yeah, give me a shout if you guys need any help in the comments down below, or need any assistance. But yeah, beyond that, pretty much just a fun time. So that's basically going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, as always, thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care, stay safe, and well, let me know how your runs go and what team build you use, because it is always interesting to hear alternative team builds. At least from my perspective, it helps to give ideas and just share it amongst the comments. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.